Alright, so the first pose in the sequence is called Child's Pose, and I think it's named that because it mimics that fetal position in the womb. And I'm going to show you the unmodified version first, and then I'm going to give you a modification to it for those of you who might have knee issues or ankle issues. This pose that I'm actually sitting in right now is called Hero's Pose, and it's one that's a little difficult at first on your ankle joints, but then after you get used to it, it actually feels really solid and sweet. And so if I've been away from my yoga practice for any time, I start out slow, just maybe 20 or 30 seconds, and then come out of it and work up to it. So the Child's Pose, all three of these poses are passive restorative poses, meaning once you've gotten yourself into the position, you don't need to do anything except receive the benefits of the position and receive yourself in it. So the way to do that, of course, is breathing and focusing on how it feels to receive it in your body, and memorize those body sensations and fill out your body map so that it feels like home, feels like coming home when you go there. So the first one, I'm going to take my glasses off for. And the way to start in this is to come down to the floor, and I'm just stretching out my ankles here. Come down to the floor and bring your knees comfortably together and your feet straight out behind you with your ankles folded. And again, this is the unmodified version of it, so I'll show you an easier version of it here in a moment. And then come back down onto your heels. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come to rest on your forehead on the blanket. And to go into that transition, go ahead and stretch your spine, and I like to put my thumbs right in the crease between my thighs and my torso, and then lengthen and come down. Lengthen as I'm coming down. And then bring my rib cage up over my thigh bones. And then bring your forehead onto the blanket. Try your arms in a number of different positions. I like to stretch them out straight ahead, so I'm getting a shoulder stretch as well, the shoulder opening. The second position is your arms folded back like this. And the third option is just by your side, folded like this. So you can try each of those arm positions and see which one feels the most delicious to you and play around with it from time to time. And what I notice in this pose is as soon as my forehead hits the ground, there's something that happens that feels like just dumping out the contents of my monkey mind into the earth. And it's what I love about each of these poses is that once you've gotten your body into the position actually does the work for you. So you don't have to effort at anything. So just putting my forehead on the ground somehow creates this dynamic in the loop of my energy field here as I'm folded in on myself in this zigzag position. And then bending over and lengthening the spine as I do that. It's really lovely, and so I invite you to pay particular attention to how it feels when you first touch your forehead to the ground, and how it feels after one cycle of breath, and how it feels after two. And just notice how you respond to it, and modify it to make it comfortable. So some of the modifications that you can do are with a yoga block or two chunky books. What I'm going to do is I'm separating the lower part of my legs a little bit to allow space to put the block right between my feet. And then I come back on it and I rest my sits bones right on the block. And that will give you a little more space in the joint. And the other thing you can do is add a blanket, a nice dense blanket, and that will give you some height too. I've also seen where people will take rolled up washcloths and put them underneath the bend in the ankle, and that will soften the stretch on your ankle joint. And then once you're in this modified position, coming down, you're going to need a little height to receive your forehead. And so play with how close or how far this needs to be so that your forehead just lands on it, but that you still have room to breathe with your nose and mouth. And again, the same thing. I like to put my thumbs in the folds here and use that to sort of anchor myself as I reach up. So I've got two opposing forces of energy. I have my spine and my head reaching up, and then I've got my lower body, my pelvis and my legs, and that downward energy, participating in the downward energy. And it feels delicious actually to pay attention to that, to feel the upward and to feel the anchoring at the same time, almost in a loop of awareness that you can do simultaneously. And as you're doing that, you can reach forward with your chin a little bit and bring your torso down and rest your forehead for a couple of breaths. And you'll notice as you do it that your shoulder joints open, so you can stretch a little bit more after a breath or so, and open your shoulder joints even more. And when you're coming up, use your hands to push up and kind of inchworm your way back so that you're not straining your spine in any way, or your back muscles. And stay within your comfort zone as you practice this, because it should feel good. And if it's not, send me an email and let me know what's not working, and I can make an additional video with further modifications. The thing that I hold in my awareness as I'm doing this, and it feels really natural to me. I don't feel like I'm having to do it. But what I feel is my brain is doing a dump into the earth through my third eye. And I feel this overwhelming sense of gratitude sweep through me as I release into the earth, as I release my forehead into the earth, and I bring my sixth chakra down to meet the ground. And it creates this loop that's very restorative and very satisfying for us who spend a lot of our time up here in the spiritual realm and the intuitive realm. And I love to start my day out with this one. So just before I even get out from under the covers in the morning, I'll roll over and put my forehead on the mattress and just stretch out. And it's really wonderful when you've been doing a lot of work that requires bending over forward, just creating that elongation. So that's the first pose in the sequence, called Child's Pose. And tune in for the next video where we'll do the second pose in the sequence.